guys, it's Tom here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool news video. And the reason why I'm so excited is because many different journalists are saying that Jurgen Klopp will be able to spend big this summer on 3 or even 4 transfers, and this is, I think, the first time that FSG and John Henry is under real pressure to spend serious money since Jurgen Klopp took over, and Liverpool absolutely have to spend, otherwise they will fall down the league and the Liverpool's valuation will plummet. And FSG are still seeking minority investment, but one day they might want to sell Liverpool, and that day might come in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But if Liverpool are in the mid-table wilderness in the Premier League, no disrespect to those clubs, but if Liverpool are not in the Champions League, in the Europa League, in the Conference League, if they are not qualifying for Europe, the fans will be really upset and they will protest against the owners and also, more importantly, to FSG. All they care about the money, they are business people. The valuation of Liverpool Football Club will plummet by billions or maybe £1 billion, and I think FSG will find the funds to back Jurgen Klopp. They basically have no other choice. They backed themselves into a corner by not spending on midfielders last summer. Whose decision was that? I wonder, because Jurgen Klopp even himself said Liverpool don't need a midfielder signing in the summer transfer window. How wrong was he? Yes, Liverpool on paper had a lot of options. He listed 8 midfielders and he said, tell me, asking the journalists, what kind of midfielders do we not have? What kind of the type of midfielder do we not have? And based on last season, yes, it's true that Liverpool had a great midfield options, but the last season took such a toll on Liverpool and nobody foresaw the injury crisis that happened for Liverpool this season. Liverpool had more players out for longer time than any times before in the Premier League, in any season, I think, and especially, you know, the midfield and the forward options, we were decimated. And yes, no one really spends in mid-season if you are not Chelsea. If you are Chelsea, yes, you can spend the hundreds of millions in mid-season, but Liverpool don't really spend in the January transfer window. Yes, we signed Virgil van Dijk in January, Luis Suarez, and other players as well. Andy Carroll, that is reminding me of nightmares, by the way. But I think Liverpool saw a brilliant opportunity signing Gakpo for a really cheap price. We got a really brilliant, big, talented player who could become world class. I think we should have signed a midfielder. I said it in the summer, I said it in January. Liverpool needed a midfielder, a runner who has the legs, the stamina, and who can rejuvenate this Liverpool midfield side, because Henderson, Fabinho, again, were just not good enough against Real Madrid in the second half. Real Madrid dominated Liverpool in the midfield, and that's not a surprise. And fans wanted big transfers in the summer, and yes, some transfers were big, and some fans were happy with our summer transfer window, but it has become increasingly obvious, clear that Liverpool absolutely need a midfield rebuild, no question. I said it before, I mean, one midfielder signing who is a senior midfielder, not a youngster, in 4 years is a disgrace. And now you would expect FSG to spend a lot of money. I'm talking hundreds of millions of pounds, because FSG are under serious pressure to rebuild Liverpool. And if FSG and John Henry doesn't provide these funds to Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, then he will lose almost every single fan of the football club. If Liverpool are not allowed to spend big, then Jurgen Klopp won't have the tools at his disposal to rebuild this Liverpool team, and that will be a disgrace, because Jurgen Klopp literally has performed miracles for Liverpool on a shoestring budget, on a net spend lower than Aston Villa, Wolves and the other like mid-table clubs. Liverpool won everything, and I mean everything, every single trophy that is available for Liverpool to win. Jurgen Klopp has been there, done it, got the t-shirt, checked, and I think Jurgen Klopp absolutely deserves a chance to rebuild this Liverpool team. Give him £300 million. Let's see what he can do when he's allowed to spend big money. And I expect FSG to spend in the summer because, as I said, they have to. Otherwise, the fans will be up in arms. I will be absolutely furious. I want them gone already. I want more ambitious owners. But if FSG provide Jurgen Klopp with the necessary money and the necessary tools to rebuild this Liverpool side, then they can stay. That's the only caveat that I will add. And it's a good point pointed out by a Liverpool fan online that FSG must protect their most valuable asset, which is Liverpool Football Club. It's worth more than anything else that they own, even worth more than the MLB side Boston Red Sox. So either by providing funds via FSG Group or through new investments, selling a portion of Liverpool FC, I suspect that FSG will definitely spend at least around £200 million, just because that's what it takes to sign 3 brilliant players at least. And hopefully it will be even more. Yes, you can sell some players to get some of those funds back. Maybe sell Henderson, maybe sell Fabinho as well, not give new contracts to Naby Keita, Firmino. You can get those wages off the wage bill. And it will hurt FSG and Liverpool financially a lot if Liverpool drop out of the Champions League, because that's a big part of Liverpool's revenue, playing Champions League football. So if Liverpool don't qualify for the Champions League this season, and if they don't strengthen the team and don't qualify for next season, that will hurt FSG and Liverpool, because Liverpool's value will plummet as well. And it doesn't make sense if they want to stay, and if they don't want to sell Liverpool, then it doesn't make sense not investing into the club, because then you are not planning to compete with other clubs in the Premier League. And you can't just let Liverpool rot away. That's not an option. I mean, if they are not interested in managing Liverpool anymore, they would have sold the club already, or they would plan to sell the club already. And there are so many players that Liverpool could sign. Jude Bellingham, Ugarte, Enzo Lefebvre from Lorient, Endika, who is a free transfer in the summer, he's a Frankfurt centre-back, brilliant player, Gvardiol from Leipzig, Ait Nouri from Wolves, for example, Kudus from Ajax. He would be a brilliant Wijnaldum replacement. Or Diaby of Leverkusen, who is a brilliant right winger, right wing back, right winger, whatever you want to call it. Frimpong would be a brilliant right wing back as well from Leverkusen. I watch quite a lot of the Bundesliga highlights and they are electric, absolutely lightning fast players. Diaby can play right wing, left wing as well. And The Athletic recently published a report saying that Cody Gakpo's arrival in January and the quickness of how that transfer was done shows that FSG, the owners, are happy to invest in the squad despite being the club being on the market. Liverpool are looking for investment, but the fee Dortmund want for Jude Bellingham would be almost twice of Liverpool's club record transfer. So we have to wait and see whether FSG have that amount of money. But I think that money has been already set aside for Jude Bellingham, because we didn't spend on a midfielder last summer. I mean, we bid almost £100 million for Tchouaméni. He went to Real Madrid, so that money must be still available. And Jurgen Klopp said that one of the main reasons why he signed a new contract was to rebuild this Liverpool side and to have Jurgen Klopp 2.0, the Jurgen Klopp era's second phase, Liverpool 2.0, whatever you want to call this rebuild. Jurgen Klopp wants to be here for it. And last season was not one for a big change, Jurgen Klopp said. If you want a big change at this club, you cannot make loads of changes and then you realize no one wants to leave. We can't do what Chelsea have done, sign a bunch of players and then we will try to sell some players. We are a sell to buy club. That's very, very painful, but I have to be honest, that's the harsh reality, that even when we signed Van Dijk, Fabinho, Alisson, brilliant world-class players who elevated Liverpool from a top 4 side to a title winning side, to a Champions League winning side, it was only made possible because we sold Coutinho for 140 or 145 million pounds. And we don't have that kind of asset anymore that we could sell. We could move players on, but we won't have 150 million coming in from player sales. Maybe 100 million maximum if we can get every single drop out of the players sold. But I don't think it should be down to the players whether they want to leave or not. Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool have to be absolutely brutally ruthless. I mean, after the embarrassing results and performances of this season, losing to Brentford, getting humbled by Wolves, conceding 5 goals to Real Madrid, and no team has ever scored 5 goals in a European game at Anfield, and that's unacceptable. Even if it's Real Madrid, the best team in Europe, the kings of Europe, and they punished every single mistake that Liverpool did. You can't concede 5 goals. I'm sorry, Joe Gomez is done, and I want Joe Gomez and Matip sold, and I want Guardiola and another centre back to be signed. I of course want Konate and Van Dijk to stay. They are brilliant, but Joe Gomez has done so many terrible performances this season. The Napoli 4-1 defeat comes to mind as well. But Fabinho also, what has happened to him? He has been outrun and outpaced by a 37-year-old Luka Modric. He went past Fabinho before Real Madrid's 5th goal like he wasn't there. It was embarrassing. And Jordan Henderson also. So many disastrous performances this season. He has been a shadow of his former self. I want either Henderson to be sold or him just being a substitute player, a bench player. Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they weren't themselves this season so far, but I would give them another chance. Trent is very young and he can still improve and get better. And hopefully that he just has a hangover from last season. Virgil van Dijk had a long injury and now he's getting back to full fitness, but I think Matip and Gomez are not Liverpool standard anymore. Phil McNulty of the BBC's journalist said Liverpool are light years away from the team that chased the quadruple last season, and the miracle at the Bernabeu is surely beyond Liverpool. I mean, I would be absolutely shocked and pleasantly surprised if we came back from a 3-goal deficit in the Bernabeu, a packed Bernabeu with a really loud Real Madrid fans. I don't see Liverpool winning there by 3 goals, never mind by 1 goal or more. Jurgen Klopp will have known that this team required a rebuilding and a renewal even before we lost 5-2 to Real Madrid, but that crystallized that opinion, I think, and now Jurgen Klopp has no doubt whatsoever that Liverpool need a complete overhaul, a complete rebuild. Something that has never been done before under Jurgen Klopp. We never sold a lot of players or moved on a lot of players and brought in a lot of players, but that's what it's required. And also, you can't really judge Virgil van Dijk too harshly this season because he has a very shaky centre-back next to him usually, Matip and Joe Gomez. Konate just hasn't been fit for enough games and played alongside Virgil van Dijk for enough games. And you also have sometimes a shaky goalkeeper behind you. And that must make Virgil van Dijk a little bit nervous and not playing his usual game. I'm sure that has to be a factor in Van Dijk's performances as well. And I mean, we go to Crystal Palace next, and then we play Wolves at home and Man United at home. 3 absolutely massive games this season. And I said that this week was massive. Newcastle, Real Madrid, and then Crystal Palace. We beat Newcastle, we lost to Real Madrid. Let's bounce back and win against Crystal Palace. But Paul Merson explained how Crystal Palace can cause massive problems to Liverpool. And Liverpool have a perfect record at Selhurst Park under Jurgen Klopp. I think we have won all of our Premier games there. But this Liverpool team is so defensively fragile and the midfield is so weak, so vulnerable, so old, so slow, so lethargic. If there is a year where Crystal Palace can take points off Liverpool, it's this one. And Paul Merson said, if you look at the way Liverpool were playing against Newcastle, you didn't know Pope had a red card, you wouldn't have been able to tell that Newcastle were down to 10 men. Suffice to say, Liverpool did struggle despite getting off to a flying start, playing with more than 60 minutes against 10 men. Crystal Palace will sit back and try to hit Liverpool on the break. Jurgen Klopp's players are of course not as good as Vinicius Jr. or Rodrigo or Benzema, but Liverpool will need to be careful and wary of the counter-attacks. They've got pace down the flanks, and those are kind of teams that cause problems for Liverpool, and if they can make the right decisions, then Crystal Palace can get a result. According to Paul Merson, his prediction is Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 1. The good news is Paul Merson is rarely right in his predictions, so hopefully he will be wrong and Liverpool will win, but I don't know anymore, honestly. Like, Liverpool are so two-faced, they are so up and down, they are so inconsistent, consistently inconsistent. I never know what kind of Liverpool will turn up. I never know whether we will be brilliant or awful, and that's a terrible thing really for this season, but it makes for a very, very interesting and nerve-wracking but fascinating and amusing season. I can't really say I enjoy it, but I enjoy the process of the rebuild, because you can see the young players developing, growing, maturing all the time. But we need better older players next to them. I don't understand how much and how quickly Henderson, Fabinho and other players can fall off after too many brilliant seasons in a row to count, and yet now they are a shadow of their former selves. They should feel ashamed of themselves, of how much they have fallen from the standards that they set in the past 3 or 4 years. And Van Nistelrooy said this in a Dutch newspaper. Cody Gakpo was very strong against Real Madrid, just like all of Liverpool in the first 20 minutes especially. They were blowing away Real Madrid and Cody was strong. He had some great ball saving moments and playing the ball to the side, moving well. Cody also had some switching moments after losing possession, winning the ball back, and he looked very sharp. But that was also the case against Newcastle and against Everton. You see he adapts quickly to that level, and I think Cody Gakpo will be a success at Liverpool. We just need a much better midfield and better defense. Konate only completed 2 training sessions, but I would bring him in. If he's fit and ready to play, I would bring him in against Crystal Palace, because Matip and Gomez alongside Van Dijk, they are just not good enough, man. And I'm really, really hoping that Konate will be fit, because with Konate and Van Dijk, this Liverpool team has a good chance to beat Crystal Palace, and we need to take advantage of Tottenham recently losing 4-1 to Leicester City. Newcastle have won none of their last 4 games in the Premier League. So Liverpool could get to 1 point, within 1 point of the top 4, if we win our 2 games in hand. But that's a big if, because as I said, Liverpool are very, very inconsistent. Let me know what you think about all the topics that we talked about in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.